إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه وبركاته عليه أما بعد. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reward our brother Abouharb for the beneficial khutbah that he gave earlier regarding how to attain a happy life. And piggybacking off of that topic, having a happy life, achieving a happy life in this world, this is going to be the topic of tonight's talk, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. But the happy life that we're referring to is in the hereafter. The happy life that we're referring to is in the hereafter. And we all know that one of the fundamental principles of Ahl Sunnah is that every single Muslim who dies upon a Tawheed is going to enter paradise. This is a principle. When you open up the books of Sunnah, the books of Aqeedah, dealing with our belief, you're going to find that this is a point. And from amongst the Muslims are those who are going to enter paradise. They're going to enter paradise without punishment. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us from them. And from amongst the Muslims are those who are going to be punished in the hellfire as a punishment and a purification for their sins. However, their final abode and their final destination is going to be paradise. So with this being said, we want to contemplate and reflect upon a tremendous hadith. And this hadith is collected in the Sahih of Imam Muslim, and is pertaining to the very last person who's going to enter paradise. عن ابن مسعود رضي الله عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال آخر من يدخل الجنة رجل فهو يمشي مرة ويكبو مرة وتسفعه النار مرة. So it was narrated by Ibn Mas'ud رضي الله عنه. He said that the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said that the last person, the very last person who's going to enter paradise is going to be a man who will walk once, stumble once, and he will be burnt by the fire once. And the statement of the Prophet ﷺ, فَهُوَ يَمْشِي مَرَّةً, he's going to walk once. The scholars, they explain, يَمْشِي مَشْيًا ضَعِيفًا مَرَّةً, meaning that he's going to walk in a weak state. This individual, he's going to walk in a weak state once. وَيَكْبُو مَرَّةً, and he's going to stumble once. وَيَسْخُطُ عَلَى وَجْهِهِ مَرَّةً, meaning he's going to stumble on his face once. And this is due to the fear and the terror that this individual is going to experience. He's the last person to come out of the hellfire. فَإِذَا مَا جَاوَزَهَا الْتَفَتَ إِلَيْهَا فَقَالَ تَبَارَكَ الَّذِي نَجَّانِي مِنْكَ. So when this individual gets past the hellfire, or he gets out of the hellfire, then he's going to turn around and he's going to look at it. And he's going to say, blessed is the one who has saved me from you. لَقَدْ أَعْطَانِيَ اللَّهُ شَيْئًا مَا أَعْطَاهُ أَحَدًا مِنَ الْأَوَّلِينَ وَالْآخِرِينَ. He will say, Allah has given me something that He has not given to any other person from the first and the latter generations. So the mere fact that this individual was saved from the hellfire, taken out of the hellfire, he's going to consider this the greatest blessing that any person has been given from the first generations as well as the last generations. فَتُرْفَعُ لَهُ شَجَرَةً. The hadith, it goes on and it says, a tree is going to be raised for him. A tree is going to appear before him. فَيَقُولْ أَيْ رَبِّي أدنيني من هذه الشجرة فأستظل بظلها وأشرب من مائها. This individual will say, my Lord, bring me near to this tree so that I can enjoy its shade and drink its water. So that I can enjoy or go under its shade and drink its water. And the scholars mention that this is an indication that there's going to be water by the stream. فَيَقُولُ اللَّهُ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ يَا ابْنَ آدَمَ لَعَلِّي إِنْ أَعْطَيْتُكَهَا سَأَلْتَنِي غَيْرَهَا. Allah Azza wa Jal will say, son of Adam, perhaps if I give you this, then you're going to ask me for something else. And this is the nature of mankind. This is the natural disposition of humanity. That when we're given something, we want more. And this is similar to what we find in the hadith where the Prophet ﷺ said, لو كان لابن آدم واديان من مال لابتغى واديا ثالثا. The Prophet ﷺ mentioned that if the son of Adam had two valleys full of wealth, gold, silver, platinum, you name it, if he had that, he would want a third like it. That's a natural disposition of humanity. We want. We constantly want. فَيَقُولْ لَا يَا رَبِّ. So the individual will say, no, my Lord. وَيُعَاهِدُهُ أَلَّا يَسْأَلَهُ غَيْرَهَا. And he's going to make a promise. He's going to make a promise that he's not going to ask for anyone else, for anything else. And who is he promising? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَرَبُّهُ يَعْذِرُهُ لِأَنَّهُ يَرَى مَا لَا صَبْرَ لَهُ عَلَيْهِ. But his Lord will excuse him. He will excuse him because he sees that he does not have the ability to be patient. He cannot resist to be patient. فَيُدْنِيهِ مِنْهَا. So Allah will bring him near to the tree. فَيَسْتَظِلَّ بِظِلِّهَا وَيَشْرَبُ مِنْ مَائِهَا. So this individual, he's going to enjoy the shade of this tree and he's going to drink of his water. ثُمَّ تُرْفَعُ لَهُ شَجَرَةٌ هِيَ أَحْسَنُ مِنَ الْأُولَى. Then another tree is going to be raised or is going to appear before him and it's going to be nicer than the first tree. فَيَقُولْ أَيْ رَبِّي أَدْنِينِي مِنْ هَذِهِ. Then he's going to say, my Lord, bring me close to this tree. Alright, he just made a promise that he's not going to ask for anything else. He's going to say, my Lord, bring me near to this tree. لِأَشْرَبَ مِنْ مَائِهَا وَأَسْتَظِلَّ بِظِلِّهَا لَا أَسْأَلُكَ غَيْرَهَا. So that I can drink his water and enjoy his shade, and I'm not going to ask you for anything else. فَيَقُولْ يَا ابْنَ آدَمَ أَلَمْ تُعَاهِدْنِي أَلَّا تَسْأَلَنِي غَيْرَهَا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say, son of Adam, didn't you just say, or didn't you just promise that you're not going to ask for anything else? لَعَلِّي إِنْ أَدْنَيْتُكَ مِنْهَا تَسْأَلُنِي غَيْرَهَا. He said, perhaps if I bring you near to this tree, then you're going to ask for something else. فَيُعَاهِدُهُ أَلَّا يَسْأَلَهُ غَيْرَهَا. And he's going to make another promise that he's not going to ask for anything else. وَرَبُّهُ يَعْذِرُهُ لِأَنَّهُ يَرَى مَا لَا صَبْرَ لَهُ عَلَيْهِ. And once more, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to excuse him for his behavior. Why? Because he sees he does not have the ability to be patient. فَيُدْنِيهِ مِنْهَا. So Allah will bring him close to this tree. فَيَسْتَظِلَّ بِظِلِّهَا وَيَشْرَبُ مِنْ مَائِهَا. And he's going to enjoy the shade of this tree and he's going to drink his water. ثُمَّ تُرْفَعُ لَهُ شَجَرَةٌ عِنْدَ بَابِ الْجَنَّةِ هِيَ أَحْسَنُ مِنَ الْأُولَيَيْنِ. Then another tree. What tree number are we at? 3. Another tree is going to be raised up for him, or it's going to appear before him. And it's going to be at the gate of paradise. It's going to be right there at the gate of paradise. And it's nicer than the first 2 trees. I think everyone sees where this is going. فَيَقُولْ أَيْ رَبِّي أَدْنِنِي مِنْ هَذِهِ لِأَسْتَظِلَّ بِظِلِّهَا وَأَشْرَبَ مِنْ مَائِهَا لَا أَسْأَلُكَ غَيْرَهَا. And he's going to say once more, my Lord, bring me near to this tree so that I can enjoy his shade and drink his water. And I'm not going to ask you for anything else. فَيَقُولْ يَا ابْنَ آدَمَ أَلَمْ تُعَاهِدْنِي أَلَّا تَسْأَلَنِي غَيْرَهَا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say, son of Adam, didn't you just promise me that you're not going to ask for anything else? قَالَ بَلَا يَا رَبِّ هَذِهِ لَا أَسْأَلُكَ غَيْرَهَا. He said, yes, my Lord, I'm not going to ask for anything else. That's it. I already made 3 promises. I'm not going to ask for anything else. وَرَبُّهُ يَعْذِرُهُ لِأَنَّهُ يَرَى مَا لَا صَبْرَ لَهُ عَلَيْهَا. And his Lord once more is going to excuse him. He's going to pardon him because he sees that he does not have the ability to be patient. فَيُدْنِيهِ مِنْهَا. So Allah will bring him near to the stream. فَإِذَا أَدْنَاهُ مِنْهَا فَيَسْمَعُ أَصْوَاتَ أَهْلِ الْجَنَّةِ. So when Allah brings him close to this tree, he's going to hear the voices of the inhabitants of paradise. That's how close he is to paradise. He's at the gate of paradise. فَيَقُولْ أَيْ رَبِّي أَدْخِلْنِيهَا. He's going to say, my Lord, enter me into paradise. That's it. Admit me therein. فَيَقُولْ يَبْنَ آدَمْ مَا يَصْرِينِي مِنْكَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say, son of Adam, what's going to get you to stop asking me? You can imagine if you were in a position, you're well off. We'll say you're a multi-millionaire. I won't say a millionaire because in this day and time, $1 million it's not what it used to be. If you had a family member come to you, ask you for $10,000, you're a multi-millionaire. The first time, okay, you'll let it go. You'll hit them off. The second time, third time, right? After that, you get tired. Well, why do you keep asking me for money? And if you were to ask a person who's a multi-millionaire for $10,000, in reality, that's like a little drop of water from an ocean. It's nothing. So what do you think of the case of the one who's being asked, and to him belongs the dominion of the heavens and the earth and everything that's between it? He owns everything. And if you were to ask him, no matter how much you were to ask him, it's not going to diminish or take away from his dominion. مَا يَصْرِينِي مِنْكَ. What's going to get you to stop asking me? أَيُرْضِيكَ أَنْ أُعْطِيَكَ الدُّنْيَا وَمِثْلَهَا مَعَهَا. Will it please you that I give you the dunya and another one like it? قَالْ يَا رَبِّ أَتَسْتَهْزِئُ مِنِّي وَأَنْتَ رَبُّ الْعَالَمِينَ. This individual will say, my Lord, are you mocking me? Are you making fun of me? And you are the Lord of the worlds. And this statement right here, أَتَسْتَهْزِئُ مِنِّي وَأَنْتَ رَبُّ الْعَالَمِينَ. Are you mocking me and you're the Lord of the worlds? The scholars, they mention that this statement from this individual, he said this out of extreme happiness and joy. He's not controlling his tongue. This was his norm. In the dunya, this is how he would talk to people. He said this statement out of extreme happiness and joy. And this is similar to another hadith where the Prophet ﷺ mentioned regarding the person who's in the middle of the desert and all of his rations or his provision is on his riding beast. And he loses his riding beast. It wanders off. So he goes underneath a tree and he waits there thinking that he's going to die. So when his riding beast comes back to him, he says, Allahumma anta abdi wa ana rabbuk. He says, Oh Allah, you are my servant and I am your Lord. أخطأ من شدة الفرح. He says this because he's extremely happy. This is similar to that statement. أتستهزئ مني وأنت رب العالمين. Are you making fun of me? Are you mocking me? And you are the Lord of the worlds. فضحك ابن مسعود. So Ibn Mas'ud رضي الله عنه, he laughed. فقال ألا تسألوني مما أضحك. He said, won't you ask me? He's talking to the people who are with him and present. He said, won't you ask me why I'm laughing? فقالوا مما تضحك. They said, what's making you laugh? قال هكذا ضحك رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. He said, this is how the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم laughed when he narrated this hadith. فقالوا مما تضحك يا رسول الله. The companions asked when the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم narrated this hadith, what's making you laugh? قال من ضحك رب العالمين. حين قال أتستهزئ مني وأنت رب العالمين. He said, I'm laughing because of the laugh of the Lord of the worlds. When this person said, are you making fun of me? And you are the Lord of the worlds. فيقول الله إني لا أستهزئ منك ولكني على ما أشاء قدير. And Allah will say, I'm not making fun of you. I'm not making mockery of you. However, I'm able to do all things. And in this portion of the hadith, the statement of the Prophet ﷺ, when he said, من ضحك رب العالمين. I'm laughing because of the laugh of the Lord of the worlds. In this statement right here, is a proof and evidence that one of the qualities and characteristics of Allah is al-dhahik, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He laughs. And of course, when it comes to all of the names and attributes of Allah Jalla wa Ala, then we affirm them as they come. Whatever Allah and His Messenger affirm, then we affirm it. Whatever Allah and His Messenger negate, then we negate. And we don't distort the names and the attributes. We don't see how they are or make them similar to the creation. We leave them as they are in terms of the kayfiyah, how it is, then this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Likewise, it comes in another hadith. And this hadith is found in Al-Bukhari. The Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam said, إِنَّ آخِرَ أَهْلِ الْجَنَّةِ دُخُولًا الْجَنَّةِ وَآخِرَ أَهْلِ النَّارِ خُرُوجًا مِنَ النَّارِ رَجُلٌ يَخْرُجُ حَبْوَةً. He said, the last person to enter paradise and the last to come out of the hellfire will be a man who will come out crawling. فَيَقُولُ لَهُ رَبُّهُ أُدْخُلِ الْجَنَّةِ. And Allah will say to this individual, enter paradise. فَيَقُولُ رَبِّيَ الْجَنَّةُ مَلْآهُ. This individual will say, paradise is already full. There's no vacancies in paradise. Everyone took all of the space in paradise. فَيَقُولُ لَهُ ذَلِكَ ثَلَاثَ مَرَّاتٍ. Allah will say this to him 3 times. Enter paradise. Enter paradise. Enter paradise. فَكُلُّ ذَلِكَ يُعِيدُ عَلَيْهِ الْجَنَّةُ مَلْآنَ. Every single time this person will say, paradise is already full. فَيَقُولُ إِنَّ لَكَ مِثْلَ الدُّنْيَا عَشْرَ مِرَارٍ. Allah will say, you're going to have 10 times the like of this dunya. Who is this? This is the last person to come out of the hellfire and the last person to enter into paradise. He's going to have 10 times the like of this dunya. 10 times the like of this dunya. We can't even really fathom or contemplate or understand what that really means. When we talk about this dunya, you're talking about everything in it. In this world. The trees, the mountains, the oceans, the lakes. All of this. Well, not necessarily the planets, but it just this dunya, this world right here, this dunya that we see. 10 times that. The last person to come out of paradise, that's what he's going to get. Another hadith, the hadith of Abu Sa'id, and this hadith is collected by Imam Muslim. He mentions what this individual is going to experience after he gets into paradise. It mentions ثُمَّ يَدْخُلُ بَيْتَهُ. Then this individual is going to enter his house. And once more, we can't imagine or fathom how that house is going to be, how big it's going to be. It's nothing like the houses in this world. If you were to think about the biggest mansion and put them all together, all the mansions in this dunya that we can think of or that we know of, and put them all together, wallahi, it's not going to be equal to what this individual is going to get. ثُمَّ يَدْخُلُ بَيْتَهُ. Then he's going to enter his home. فَتَدْخُلُ عَلَيْهِ زَوْجَتَاهُ مِنَ الْحُورِ الْعِينِ. Then 2 of his wives from the Hur al-Ain are going to enter upon him. فَتَقُولَانِ الْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ الَّذِي أَحْيَاكَ لَنَا وَأَحْيَانَ لَكَ. They're going to say, all praise and thanks belongs to Allah, who created you for us and us for you. فَيَقُولُ مَا أُعْطِيَ أَحَدٌ مِثْلَ مَا أُعْطِيتَ. And he's going to say, no one has been given what I've been given. No one has been given the like of what I've been given. And this is the last person who's going to enter into paradise. So what do you think of the case of the individuals who don't enter the hellfire? Those who are going to enter the highest parts of paradise. Jannatul Firdaus. And the different levels in paradise. There's no doubt that their enjoyment and their bliss and their happiness is going to be even greater. So there are some benefits, there are numerous benefits that we gain from these different narrations. And I don't want anyone to leave here tonight thinking that, you hear the likes of these narrations, because you have a lot of Muslims who just rely upon the mercy of Allah. They hear these ahadith, they're beautiful ahadith. It shows us, no doubt, the vast mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That His mercy, it precedes His anger. But we don't want no one here who's listening to walk away and think, okay, I'm just going to continue committing sins. I got my girlfriend. Tonight's Friday night. I'm going to go to the club. I'm just going to keep doing whatever I'm doing because inshallah I'm going to die upon tawheed. That's it. Don't think like that. A Muslim should not think like that. Because first and foremost, who said you're going to die upon tawheed? Being persistent upon sins, the scholars, they mention this is baridul kufr. It leads a person to disbelief. Being persistent upon major sins, eventually that could translate to you being in the church one day, committing shirk. You don't know what you're going to die upon. So, some of the takeaways from these ahadith is to encourage us to increase in doing righteous deeds. Because we want to get to the highest levels of paradise. In reality, no one here wants to be this individual. No one in their right mind wants to be the last person to get into paradise. You know, maybe the last person to get a stimulus check or something like that. Maybe you can get away with that in this dunya. But let's think about it. You don't want to be the last person to get into paradise. Because that necessitates what? That you're going to have to go to the hellfire. And one dip into the hellfire, you're going to forget about all the happiness and all the joy that you had in this world. No one can deal with that. So this hadith, it encourages us to put forth and to strive with regards to doing righteous deeds. Also, another benefit from this hadith is that the people who die upon a tawheed, who will enter the hellfire, and they're punished because of their sins, they're not going to abide in the hellfire forever. That's taken away from these narrations. And we know that this is a refutation against the Khawarij, right? The Khawarij, the Mu'tazila, because they hold the opinion or the belief that if a Muslim commits a major sin, then they disbelieve. If a Muslim drinks intoxicants, he disbelieves. If a Muslim commits fornication or adultery, he disbelieves. If a Muslim steals, he disbelieves. This hadith clearly shows us that the very last person who's going to come out of the hellfire is going to be a Muslim. He's going to be a Muslim. So that shows that he fell into sins. So this is a refutation against the Khawarij. And there are many other takeaways from these hadith and these narrations, but we're going to suffice with this. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to have mercy upon us, to rectify our affairs, and to admit us into paradise without punishment. إنه ولي ذلك والقادر عليه وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم.